Alright, so welcome everyone, welcome to Children of a Dead Earth. And what is different about this game is it is science fiction, however it does base itself in science fact. For example, you do not get a 300 megawatt generating nuclear reactor in a matchbox. It also generates realistic levels of heat, so you have to try and get rid of that as efficiently as possible. Weapons are not sort of phasers and things like that, there's nothing like that. But it is based within actual real physics, so it's based on real equations, real physics equations. Also, for the only time I've actually ever seen since Elite 2, which is called Frontier Elite 2, there is real world n-body calculated physics. That's Newtonian physics, so that gives you realistic orbital mechanics. And that does come into play in the game, not just weapon systems. You can also, once you get past the campaign, it unlocks the sandbox mode, so you can actually put your own ships together and try them out as well. Alright, so we're going to head into the campaign with the first mission. And obviously, as always, if you want to leave a comment, a question, anything like that, leave it in the comment section underneath each of the videos in this series. Alright, so let's get going into the campaign of Children of a Dead Earth. Alright, so mission 1, distress call at Luna. So our job is to refuel a cargo freighter orbiting Luna with a ruptured fuel tank. And then rendezvous with a space station. So we then take command of the cargo freighter. Let's head to the... So something refuel cargo freighter orbiting Luna with a ruptured fuel tank, then rendezvous with the space station. Date J22490, 1 month. Time limit is 1 month. Is that 28 days or 31 days? I don't know. Welcome to your first command, Admiral. Please pay no mind to all the talk about nepotism. In case you're not already aware, the USTA's recent acquisitions of contested asteroids in the belt has caused severely rising tension. The leaders of myself at High Command are expecting the worst. That means we'll need all the commanders we can get in the coming months, so your complete lack of experience is not a problem. You will have several subordinate officers who will guide you through basic orbital mechanics for this mission. One of our cargo freighters are two carrying valuable radionuclides to Luna from the belt has suffered a ruptured fuel tank, so it's lost all its propellant. Fortunately, it managed to inject itself into high orbit around Luna, known as the Moon, before it lost all Delta V. The crew has patched up the hull, so it should be okay to refuel them at this point. Luna's our second greatest claim in the solar system behind Mars, so we have plenty of spacecraft and stations in orbit to help them out. Your job is to take a methane tanker currently docked at a methane depot and rendezvous with the freighter. Refuel the cargo freighter and then bring it back to the methane depot to complete the mission. Should be a simple task and will prepare you for the more difficult missions ahead. Again, your officers will explain every step of the way. So this is like a tutorial. And finally, give my regards to your mother, Madam President. So your mother is Madam President, so that's what the top about nepotism. So that's probably why the crew won't like you very much. So you've got recommended reading. I'm not going to go through all of this. Basic orbital mechanics, it's Delta V requirements, calculations, all that sort of stuff. Got Delta V, orbital burns. You'll be taught all this if you wish to try to play CDE. We've got factions, we've got the Free Republics. That's the ones you're actually working for right now. Republic of the Free People. Abbreviation is RFP. Ship prefect is RSF. One celestial body, which is the Moon. Very familiar. So, allied craft. There's no enemy crafts. There's nothing to shoot at. Methane. So as I said, these spacecraft are not what you expect. They are not Star Trek or Star Wars or anything like that. These are based on real-world physics equations. So methane is obviously easier to store than liquid hydrogen, but it's almost as efficient. Hence why SpaceX are supposed to be starting to use methane in some of their rockets pretty soon. These are very large. Here's your heat signature. So that's obviously because it has to keep this cryogenically cooled still. Not as cold as liquid hydrogen, but it still has to generate plenty of cryogenic cooling. That needs generators. Generators give you heat, so you have to try to bleed off. So these glowing apogees, these things here, these are radiators. So I've got 142 meters, hull diameter is 95.5, total diameter 135 meters, cross section 10,000 meters squared. Heat signature is 205 megawatts. So as it says there, deco flares must exceed the heat signature, just like a fighter aircraft launching heat-based flares. To get rid of heat seeking missiles, you have to have a brighter flare, a hotter signature moving away from yourself in order to deflect a missile away from you. Exactly the same thing as in the obviously in the real world. So mass 148 kilotons, so 148,000 tons. Just put it into perspective. This is a spacecraft and it weighs 148,000 tons. And it costs 336 million credits. Large methane tanker. Practically the same object we just looked at, but obviously it's got engines. We have a crew section at the front here. What's most striking about this tech is that there's no windows. Especially if you don't have windows, obviously because of radiation. Length 152 meters. I'm going to read all that out. Delta V 21.8 kilometers a second. Pop our methane. Acceleration is 102 milli-Gs. Dry acceleration 3.44 Gs, so it's not very fast. Doesn't need to be a tanker. Total burn time 1 hour 22 minutes getting through all of its fuel. Turnabout time 28.9 seconds. Rollabout time 15.9 seconds. Ambient heat 137 megawatts. Peak heat 1.39 gigawatts. And it weighs 37,100 tons, or 37.1 kilotons, 62.1 million credits. And a cargo freighter that we need to rescue with the methane tanker. Alright, so we've got the radiators again, crude section, propulsion, NTRs, nuclear thermal rockets. Hence why I've only got one fuel type. Some are bipropellants. You can put those together, chemical rockets, all sorts of different things. This is 31,500 tons. These things are flipping big. Alright, let's head in and let's start the mission. Alright, so astrogation officer. As I said, this is basically just a tutorial. So greetings Admiral, a pleasure to serve under you. Let's learn some camera controls first. Rotate the camera by click dragging with the right mouse button. Like that. Or you can use WSD, but we use the mouse. Pretty easy. Zoom in and out with the mouse wheel, as always, just like that. Pan the camera, clicking left, yeah, so it's the same as panning it. So panning it is the same as moving like that, but left click. So roll the camera, middle mouse button, hold it down, side to side. Okay, that's it. Let's do a little wandering around this planetary system to get used to the camera controls. Select Earth right now. You may need to rotate your camera to find it on screen first. You can't miss it. It's a nasty, horrible looking thing. So we select Earth. And then we can put the camera. As you can see, it's completely dead. This was caused by something called a cataclysm. The two power blocks, east and west, fighting each other. The east decided to, instead of using nukes, decided to weaponize an asteroid and plow into the Earth. In less than a decade, the planet was dead, so we had to be basically evacuated off, so now we have all of our Earth's population plus a lot more off Earth. So that's what we have. Okay, great. Also, if you ever need to review these messages, you can find them here. They're all there. Alright, let's select the actual ship we need. We've got 0 meters per second. So that's the freight we need to rescue. So this is, it's got 0 delta V, meaning this spacecraft can't change course at all. And it's stuck in its default orbit. Your mission is to refuel it. Check on another fleet, set this square icon. Inspect the fleet. Oh, there we go. So that's the methane depot, and this is the methane tanker. Well, you can actually see what the parts are. So the 25 crew modules, so there's 4 of those. Is it 4 of those or 2 of those? No, it's 2 of those, so there's 50 crew. Yeah. So you see aluminium. It says aluminum, but obviously I'm English, I'm going to say aluminium. Seems I say titanium. I don't understand why people call it aluminum. But never mind. Let's not start our argument. In this fleet we have both a methane depot space station and a methane tanker spacecraft. Take a look at the delta V that the tanker has. 14.8 kilometers a second. So methane tanker could use some more delta V. Really? It's got a huge amount. So let's refuel it with the methane depot. Select the methane depot. All we do is we switch this on. And we start to refuel it. It's automatic. You know, we can't see any tubes or anything, but oh dear. Okay, notice that the methane tanker's delta V is increasing as the depot refuels it. As soon as you exit this view, the refueling will finish automatically, so you don't have to wait for it. So it will just carry on by itself. So I'm going to split the methane tanker away from the methane depot. It will carry on refueling it though. Okay. Make sure you can see all the fleets and their orbits right now. Yep. Both fleets there. There should be the cargo tanker in a wide orbit and 2 other fleets in the same tight orbit, right on top of one another. So you can see those. Methane depot and a methane tanker. So I'm going to run the turn. See a short amount of time passed. So obviously you've got different settings. You've got 1 minute, 10 minutes, you've got 1 hour, goes up to 6 hours, then 1 day. It looks like 10 to me, it's actually 1D. And that's 6D, not 60 days. It's, yeah. Can get a bit confusing that because it looks like 10 and 60. Let's make 6 hours long. Right, another turn. Okay, you can use this to speed up or slow down time like this is necessary. For now, let's stick with 1 hour long. Okay, let's set the tanker and then we'll begin an orbital maneuver. So I have methane tanker. Unlock the trajectory planning. It's like your green orbit has changed into a lighter blue line. This is your future trajectory, and you can add thruster burns to it to alter its path. You can do it at any point as well. So that's match your RFP tank methane depot around Luna. So that's where we've just come from. We don't want to do that again. So we have 21.8 kilometers a second delta V. So making sure your fleet is selected. Most of the paths are checked. We've just done that. It's into the future, so we can see that. Tells you where you are. Periapsis, lowest point. Of course, you have apoapsis at the highest point. It's also your slowest part of the orbit as well. Okay, so it's any position on the light blue trajectory line closer points to your fleet are closer in time. Obviously, this is a time. $30 minutes, 32, 42, 50. So I'm going to go on apoapsis. Trajectory. So that moves that to there. Notice we have effectively frozen the future look ahead to the time that your fleet will be at this point. The blue thrust handle adds out of plane burns, so it alters the phase. This mission is entirely two-dimensional, so there is no out of plane, so we don't need that for this mission. So the blue handle you don't touch. The green thrust handle adds radial burn, so that's in and out away from the source of sphere of influence or the gravitational well that you're actually in right now. So this, if you thrust inwards, it's towards the moon. If it's outwards, it's away from the moon. So directly towards the moon or directly away from it. So the red thrust handle adds burns tangential to your orbit direction. It is the most efficient way to tighten or widen an orbit. So set the tangential red handle now and widen your trajectory until it crosses the freighter's orbit. You do not need to hold down the mouse to move it. So use left click once and leave it held. So we've got 57 minutes and 392 or so. So we've got 21.8 kilometers a second. So we're not going to run out of delta V, that is for sure. So that's meters 1.16. So your burns appear on the left. You can select or clear them if you wish. If you make a mistake, so if you make a mistake, you can actually clear those just by tapping the red X. So we've actually got an intercept. So once your trajectory intersects the freighter's orbit, a white planet icon will appear on your trajectory, indicating you are close enough to match the freighter's orbit. So that's to match the freighter's orbit. We can actually intercept it, but we'll go through the tutorial. But I would just, if I was playing this free, sort of just a mission, standard mission, I would just click on that and intercept it in 10 hours. So we'll match instead. Alright, so good. If you have successfully matched the orbit, your trajectory will now be ending in a white diamond. Just there. So the blue map sees the alteration. That's where you are thrusting or modifying your trajectory itself. Once it ends, it should end like that with the planet symbol should be in the diamond shape. So run the so it's 1 hour each time we press it. Nearly there. One more. There we go. Like I said, I could have just intercepted it, but we'll go through the tutorial, because if you try sort of jumping ahead, it can sort of break the tutorial sometimes. So you're in the same orbit, but you'll never get closer to the target, because two fleets in the same orbit move at identical velocities with speed, relatively speaking. To catch them, we need to either widen or tighten the orbit. We won't catch them, we'll slow down and they'll catch us. Or we'll speed up by going close to the lunar surface, and it will accelerate as relative to the target. So making sure you have the fleet selected, let's do something called orbit phasing. Start a new trajectory. Set any point on the blue line trajectory line. Points along the trajectory closer. Yeah, we all keep saying that. As you can see, where both vessels will actually be. When they're actually on a different orbital path. But when you're on the same orbital path, it doesn't show that at all. It's a bit strange. If you notice, there's nothing else. There's just our own tanker. We don't know where the ship is, but we'll do it in the apoapsis. We're only going to be using the tangential red thrust handle for this one. In one direction, it will tighten your orbit, speed you up in the other direction. It will widen your orbit, slowing you down. Let me bring it down. I'd like to know where the other ship is. So you can right click, if you make a mistake, just right click and you can just release it and go back to where it was before I actually started to alter it. So I drag the red handle in the other direction, see how it affects your orbit. I've just done that. Every time. There we go. So every time you change your orbit, mouse over your trajectory to see how close you get to your destination. If you are still ahead after one orbit, widen it. If you are behind, we don't actually know where we are. That's the strange thing about this. There's no indication as to where the other vessel is on our orbital track. Tighten it, tweak until you get a green join icon and then select it to join. That is it basically, it can join. Could have done that first of all. Never mind. Okay, down on the green icon, green join icon indicates that your ships have confirmed a join. Run then turn until they do join. Shouldn't take too long. So now it's showing both vessels. That's weird. Let's go to the next step. Go to 1 hour. Alright, so now that the cargo freighter and the methane tank are in the same fleet, select the new fleet. So that's that. Perfect. And some of you fueled up the methane tanker, fueled the cargo freighter. So we've got the methane tanker. Okay, there we go. Split up the freighter. No reason to have the methane tanker tag along with us at this point. So we're going to leave the tanker behind now and take command of the freighter. I'm going to split it off. So once it's full of fuel, so we're full of fuel instantaneously. 9.75 kilometers a second, or 9,750 meters a second. Delta V the freighter now, it should be enough to make it back to original methane depot. Yeah, easy. Let's start a new trajectory and turn back to the depot. Make sure the fleet is selected first. Cargo freighter. Rather than execute a similar set of manoeuvres, let's do things a little bit differently this time. There are nearly an infinite number of ways to rendezvous with a target spacecraft in orbit. So this time we'll be using a different frame of reference. So instead of the moon, we're going to use the actual methane depot itself as the... This is rather awkward, but it does have its uses later on. So our trajectory looks very different, no longer a simple elliptical orbit anymore. It hasn't really changed, you're just simply viewing it in a different reference. So obviously the reference is having the methane depot as your point of reference. So that's all the trajectory, everything moves except for the current frame of reference, the methane depot. This makes it easy to rendezvous with your destination because it never moves as time passes. When you're ready, select a point on the trajectory. Remember, close to the start on the trajectory is nearing time. Yep, that is the time. You can see nothing you do moves a methane tanker, including going right through the moon. We've already got a join icon just there. Good grief. So I'm going to go at the apparatus again. It's always the easiest place to start with, at least. Trajectory. Okay, so therefore your trajectory changes when you select and move the tangential, the red thrust handle. I'm not going to make it permanent now. Unless I get lucky and can actually hit it. Which I just did. Good grief. Never mind. We'll ignore that. We'll put that back. For this frame of reference, the path changes in a very different manner based on the sort of burns you execute. That the actual burns are the same, but the perspective is different. Try seeing how the path changes when you use the perpendicular green thrust handle. So this is radial in. Another intercept. You see the way it changes. Going radial in. Radial out, I should say. When you get it, select that icon to join. Alright, so it's both red and green thrust handles. Remember that blue is out of plane, so we don't want that. Try to make the trajectory come close enough to the methane depot that the green join icon appears. That's that. We can obviously join the methane tanker because we just left it. We're actually just next door to it. When you get it, select that icon to join. So we want this to display like this. A little bit easier than you think. A little bit easier said than done, to be honest. It's not. So we're going to reduce our thrust down. Reduce our delta, well, our forward velocity. Bring that orbit in. Okay, so we've got a planet, we've got an actual on the periapsis. We can actually join the same orbit. Well, see, we don't want to just do that. Okay. Sometimes you have to sort of zoom in. Because sometimes icons can be quite close to you. Oh, good grief. So that's right next door. There we go. Join RFP methane depot. So that's that. So once you have successfully plotted the course, return to the default frame of reference. So we'll go back to Luna. You see exactly the same. It's no different. I don't understand why you would need to lay out to that such an early point. But this is sort of trying to sort of teach you for future reference. So we're going to run it a little bit faster. Oh, 10 minutes. Alright, there we go. So mission accomplished. You've got a firm enough grasp of orbital spaceflight to start doing serious missions now. Obviously, it took a bit longer, so obviously you can redo that and not completely ignore what the tutor is trying to teach you and just do it normally. Won't take anything like as long. So it took us 2 days, 2 hours, 1.31 kilometers a second spent. Rating's only bronze. Record is 12 hours 14 minutes, 1.08 kilometers a second. Not too bad. Like I said, I'd rather just play through the tutorial because sometimes you can break it. Right, let's go on to the next mission.